Hey everybody, Jason Burmis here. And right now, Action4Assange is in fact broadcasting from their channel, and I'm going to be joining them live. But I usually do a little intro here first, and then I leave the broadcast, and that way you can go from here over to them and subscribe because they're doing extremely important work. Action4Assange.com is the website, and you can follow them at action_for_Assange on Twitter. Now, if you guys were following my work last week, the vast majority of it, including up until a week from now, was in D.C. I was down in front of the prison in which Chelsea Manning was being held. We went to the site in which Seth Rich was murdered. I was out in front of the White House, and of course, got interviews with people like Lee Stranahan, Patrick Howley, Rob Dew, and the infamous Alex Jones. So what I wanted to do in this broadcast was prep you guys for a recap of what the extradition hearing was all about, the type of activism that did take place, the connections that were made through this. So without further ado, I am going to log into the Zoom interview, or the Zoom meeting with everybody else, and we're going to go live with them. Sorry for a moment. Let's go. Open the Zoom meeting. And there it is. And hopefully we're going to join with video, and we're going to be A-OK. Okay.
Julian Assange is facing 175 years in prison for the crime of revealing United States war crimes, for the crime of revealing U.S. corruption with our international allies, for the crime of revealing the United States torture programs in Guantanamo Bay, and it's met with applause. And it was quite incredible. I explained to all of them that if something happens to Julian, it will happen to us. When Julian is gone, we are gone. When Julian is brought here, we have no free speech. When Julian is extradited, we have no country left. And I was surprised how well it was received. The entire room ripped into applause. It was absolutely wonderful to hear that. And these are people that a portion of me ideologically agrees with, and a portion of me doesn't, because they have some stances that I don't agree with, but they have others that I do. And I personally think in this age and in this time of mass surveillance and mass propaganda, I would rather have us as people, as the people who are aware, regardless of political ideology, focus on the things that we have in common, focus on the ground that we can share. Because once we can have a way that everyone can agree, hey, we should limit the powers of government, we can then have further conversations about what Medicare for All would look like outside of the government, which would be handing it to National Nurses United, and just a bunch of different post-partisan conversations. So, but with that, though, I would like to welcome Jason Burmis. How are you today, my friend? We were just recapping the events of Wednesday.
I'm doing great, man, and thank you guys so much for doing what you were doing and being in front of the White House on Monday, traveling before the media on Tuesday, letting them know about Assange. Let's not forget about the DOJ and how many people were out there actually listening. You know, the people guarding the Department of Justice, their ears perked up when they realized, wow, you know what? Julian Assange and Chelsea Manning are being unjustly held. And of course, this continued on through Wednesday when we went to the Free Speech First Amendment Emergency Summit event. I left on Thursday, but you guys continued. And the extradition hearing, although it wrapped up for now Thursday, we didn't get a lot more answers than we had already gotten by Wednesday. And the bombshells that were broken, the interview with Cassandra Fairbanks, I mean, I feel like so much was accomplished. I just want to thank you guys so much for putting this together and really putting your nose to the grindstone and letting people know the truth about the issue that is Julian Assange and free speech, not only for all of us in this country, but around the world.
We're not even close to stopping, Jason. And thank you for coming down and joining us. That was incredible. It was great to hang out. We should do that again sometime. I don't think that the Free Speech Summit would have gone the way it did had you not had your interview crashed by Alex Jones and put him on the spot. I really think that changed the entire tone for the evening, to where when we were walking in, he was telling people, stop supporting Trump if he doesn't do right by Julian Assange. It's incredible. But we're not slowing down at all. We're going to be doing live teach-ins. I'm in the process of organizing an event at the National Press Club for like early mid-April. It'll be a full panel full of journalists. It'll be something that you will want to see. And we're going back to DC in May. So I know we have people that are part of the Burmese Brigade that helped us get to DC and London. Thank you so much. You guys are incredible. We're gonna do it again. So if you're able to support us, please do. If not, please fucking tell your friends. But yeah, thank you so much for coming with us, Jay. That was great.
Well, let's talk about Jones just for a second. The bottom line is you have to hold people accountable. And it seemed like fate that all of a sudden this thing that was announced on a Sunday, I came across, I believe, on a Tuesday, the second day I was there, and said to myself, you know what? Yeah, Alex Jones has been persecuted. I may not agree with him, but at the same time, he shouldn't be kicked off Facebook, Twitter, etc. But he can't just make this about what's happening to Roger Stone. The larger issue is Julian Assange, and that was not being reflected on his website. And, I had seen Jones a couple times before the incident where he crashed my little interview with Rob Dew. And the reason that I didn't go up to him was because he was with his new wife. And I was like, you know what? Let's be respectful. Let's not get kicked out of here. Let's get him where he's going to actually have to comment on something that's important. And as much as he gunned for me from the very beginning, trying to put me down, I still got him on the record. And I think you're right, Steve. Let's be honest. He opened that thing with Julian Assange. Even Millie Weaver not only expressed her thoughts on Assange, but Chelsea Manning as well. And a lot of these quote-unquote alt-right figures, like Owen Schroyer, had to talk about Assange, even mentioned Tulsi Gabbard, who continues to get screwed. She just qualified for the next debate. She got some delegates. Guess what? No, Tulsi, you're not allowed on the debate stage. We're just going to change the rules again. Like we changed them for Bloomberg, now we'll change them again against you. It just shows you how rigged the system is. And now we see Super Tuesday, and I know all of us were shaking our heads over the weekend when Biden won South Carolina, but then you see Bootlicker and Klobuchar fold to the establishment, back an openly senile man, and now we're all supposed to believe that Joey B is going to beat that Trump train. The guy keeps saying he's going to beat Trump like a drum. I don't think he could drool on a drum successfully at this point. I think that would be pretty hard for him.
Not unless they had somebody following him around with it, and maybe catching the awkward head movements or the sudden urge to run across the room and sniff hair. We know that the goal was never to beat Trump. That's secondary. That's not the primary goal. The primary goal is to make sure that Bernie Sanders doesn't get anywhere near the White House. And all they have to do is have enough candidates in the race or enough delegates to pool together so that Bernie Sanders doesn't hit 1,901, that threshold that he would need to get through the first round of a convention uncontested. A contested convention has been the plan since 2017, probably a little bit before that. But after their stupid unity conference in 2017, Tom Perez came out and said, we're going to field more candidates than the GOP did in 2016. We're going to change the way the caucuses work. And we're getting rid of 20% of the superdelegates, but they'll be able to vote on the second round. But that would only happen if there's a contested convention. And gee, what are the odds of that? You'd literally have to run more people than they did in 2016.
I look at it this way right now. I don't think that they think that Joe Biden can win. I don't know whether they're planning on giving him a Hillary Clinton ticket. It seemed like they were trying to run that with Bloomberg, but all the money in the world couldn't get people to vote for him. I didn't think that was going to be a thing, but who knew? I think that Joe Biden wouldn't even have to be Clinton sided, he'd simply just have to step down and be like, look, I've been babbling on TV the last 18 months. I can barely spit out a sentence. I obviously can't lead the country anymore. Or maybe he has his third aneurysm. Who knows? But let's be honest. Joe Biden right now looks and sounds 10 to 15 times worse than Reagan did at the end of his presidency when he was clearly senile. I mean, it's not even ballpark. The guy can't successfully say a sentence, and for shame on Fox News for not pointing this out, the supposed right-wing outlet. I mean, I did a 22-minute video today that easily could have been an hour and a half of just some of the times that Joe Biden couldn't successfully spit out a sentence, or talked about a record player, or said that white kids are, what was it? Poor kids are just as smart as white kids. Are they? Well, thank you, Joe. That's great to know. I mean, the guy can't get out a sentence. He's got hairy legs. He loves kids jumping on his lap. I mean, again and again, he's looked so bad in these debates. It should show you how fucked we are in 2020 when Bernie was the clear front runner, and now they have literally rigged the game against him every single way they humanly possibly could.
So real quick, if you are a Bernie Sanders supporter and you're feeling disaffected, or if you're a member of the DSA or any of those like left-leaning organizations, and you have built-in organizing and activism experience, and you want to, continue to try to be on the right side of history, we would love to have you get on board with Action4Assange. We'll put a link to the Discord in the chat. Like, we need you on board for this. I've been trying to tell you that they're gonna do this for a really long time, and like, I don't want, and I told you so, I want you to get on board with what we're doing, because it's a tragically necessary and fucking on the inside wonderful and beautiful thing.
I frankly can't believe we have to try to convince people on the left that this is an issue that needs like immediate attention. It's astonishing to me and super frustrating. You would think that, I mean, we've talked about Bernie and his silence before. Dude knows better. Like, he knows this is going to get used against the left. It already is. I mean, and it's only going to get worse between Max Blumenthal and Glenn Greenwald. It's like, at some point, we're going to have to realize that this is a serious issue.
Well, I think when you put Jimmy Carville on national television as somebody that espouses the modern day left and says, hey, Bernie Sanders should just drop out, and then you put everybody full force against Bernie Sanders. He's a puppet of Russia. Socialism is coming. He's really a communist. I mean, hitting those talking points again and again and again. Hey, I'm no Republican. I'm no Democrat. There's a lot of things I disagree with Bernie Sanders on. He is clearly the most qualified guy on stage at this point, and clearly has the largest actual base. I have a hard time believing that Diebold machines and other establishment voting machines aren't finding a way to vote for Joe Biden, as they've done for other establishment candidates in the past. Call me kooky or call me Greg fucking Palast. I mean, this stuff has been around forever, and the bottom line is Joey B wasn't sellable 6 months ago. He wasn't sellable 6 weeks ago. He wasn't sellable 6 days ago. So why now?
So
he's
I'm
horrible. He's Trump. He is Trump. Like, they keep trying to say we have to beat Trump, but he is Trump. Like, just with better hair.
No, he doesn't have better hair.
So I'm gonna pivot us a little bit. If you could though, Jason, you have your Zoom chat open on the bottom, or it's not pulled out.
Okay.
Is there a way you could pop that out so when we message it doesn't pop up on screen?
Oh, yeah. Give me 1 second. I'll try. Let me see.
You're good. I'm gonna actually pull up a video though. I want to get into the Cassandra Fairbanks stuff real quick.
Uh-huh.
And I'm gonna start by playing just a little bit of a clip from our interview. So let me get my share going here.
Let me know when to pull it up.
All right. Yeah, we're ready when you are.
Yep, I got the video up for Cassandra right now.
So this is how you met Arthur Schwartz.
So I met him through mutual friends, and I always had like my free Assange bag or a free Julian shirt on. He knew my stance on WikiLeaks. He knew that this was the thing that was most important to me. We followed each other on Twitter for a long time. He knew all these things. But I was in a DM group with him, and Rick Grinnell was in it as well, and a lot of like right-wing social influencers, right-wing journalists, people in the administration, in the campaign, were all in this big DM group. I'm not in anymore, but I was, and people would post links in there or ideas or things that were important to them, and so I had interviewed Julian Assange's mother, Christine, on October 30th of 2018. And I posted the link in there because I always posted WikiLeaks stuff in there, trying to hopefully, I was hoping somebody would see it and feel bad, or get it to somebody who could actually do something. And so just in a long shot, I threw it in there, didn't really think anything of it. And then 10 minutes later, Arthur called me and he went crazy, and he was saying that I need to stop trying. He was screaming at me and saying that they were going to go into the embassy, that they were going to get Julian, that they were going after Manning, that they weren't going after Julian for Vault 7 or for the DNC leaks, but that they were going to go after him for the Manning leaks. And he went into great specifics about people that he claimed Julian got killed or tortured. He claimed that there was, a child who got tortured in front of their father, there were photos of it, and that people like Grinnell and John Jr. had previously supported WikiLeaks, but that they stopped supporting it because they saw these photos and that they heard these stories. But we know that that's not a thing, because during the Manning trial, the Pentagon testified that nobody was hurt, and during this most recent extradition trial, the government has testified that there's nobody that they know of that's been hurt. And so they were spreading this toxic information around, trying to poison the well, and I don't know if that includes to Trump or to John Jr. or if they're in on it or what, but they've been spreading this information. And so I went and I visited Julian on January 7th of 2019. And I remember because it was my boyfriend at the time's birthday, and Julian signed a book for him. But we talked about this in depth. And I remember being like, does Sheldon Adelson have problems with you? And he was like, no, why? Why would you bring that up? And I was like, because all these people have Sheldon Adelson in common, and this whole circle of people seem really upset with you. And he was like, I don't think so, I don't know. And we now know that Sheldon Adelson heard that whole phone call, or that whole discussion in person at the embassy. And I told him, obviously, that they were planning to go after him for the Manning leak, or that I was told that. And things just kind of snowballed from there. I ended up trying to visit him again in March, got locked in the room in the embassy, and then I called Arthur, or I texted Arthur 2 days later, and I was like, do you know anything about this? Why are they doing this to me? They've never done this to anyone who's visited Julian. And he said that he did know something about it, but that he couldn't tell me because he knew that I had told Julian. But I talked to Julian about this in person, which means that he heard the surveillance footage. And it's just been this big mess. Eventually,
that's within 2 days of you visiting Julian.
I feel long ran.
No. So let me just say.
So I'm going to go ahead and cut it there. You can find that full video on our channel as well as Jason's channel, and I believe Jason was actually badass enough to put the closed captioning in.
I'm doing it. I still haven't put it in, but I'm going to put the
it.
closed captioning. I'm going to re-upload it this week.
Yeah, and so we were in a hotel bar directly after the Alex Jones event when that interview took place.
Super cool for her to sit down with you too. That's so, and go over everything. That's awesome.
Yeah, and to my knowledge, that's the only interview that she's really done on this topic, because she doesn't do many interviews at all. But I want to actually pull up the phone call now, unless anyone else has any commentary about that. Okay. Let me get this ready to share really fast.
Thumbs this video up, subscribe, and share to everything, guys.
Cassandra,
Hey.
you're posting classified information on Twitter. You can't do that.
What? I'm not posting classified information.
Yeah, Rick. Yeah, that's classified. Yeah, Rick's role is classified. You can't do that.
ABC News already reported it. That's where I saw it.
But not his role. You are posting things that are classified and no one knows it has not been reported.
That was reported by ABC News.
I know what was reported. I see what you're tweeting. What you're tweeting is not what was reported. Someone's going to go to jail. You need to stop this.
Yeah, Julian's in jail right now because of this.
I don't want to go to jail.
Well, I mean, I'll delete my tweet only because you're saying that you'll get in trouble.
I don't want to go to jail. Please, I'm begging you.
All right, I will delete it. I was just referring to the ABC News report.
But like, they look into you. They see that we speak. That's bad.
I mean, the reason
He's taking orders from the president. Okay, so you're gonna punish me because he took orders from the president?
I wasn't punishing you. I was tweeting from an ABC News report.
Okay.
Remember, I called you about it.
I'm begging you, please.
All right, I will delete the tweets.
Thank you.
He was taking orders from the president.
Oh, and I think one of the other things that we should discuss, Andrew, from the interview that wasn't played is the fact that, not only is this a Grenell Trump operation, but kind of exclusively, I haven't seen it anywhere else, Cassandra Fairbanks said that, not only was Trump upset that Julian didn't take the deal that was offered by Dana Rohrabacher, but in order to use the Chelsea Manning WikiLeaks evidence and not the Vault 7 or the DNC links, she revealed that either Don himself or Don Jr. or both of them were shown pictures of children being tortured that they said were due to the Manning leaks. Can you hear me, Andrew? Nope. He's muted. All right.
I'm extra muted. Wow, I muted like 3 times. That's super disturbing to me, too. The fact that there are circles within our government that don't even accept the information that the Pentagon put out, saying that no one was hurt in response to these leaks. That came out in a fucking court-martial. It came out in Chelsea Manning's actual military court case that the Pentagon said no one was hurt as a result of these leaks. And so for there to still be disinformation and misinformation circling around the White House, right? Not even amongst the media or amongst those other things, but lies literally being told inside of the administration is really disturbing, because at the end of the day, there's a very small handful of people with the power to stop this. And if all of those people are literally just repeating the same smears that you see on mainstream media, it's no surprise that this came from the direction of the president, that he wanted Julian to be in this situation. And it actually harkens back to, we talked about it a little later, the whole Dana Rohrabacher Kim.com thing, where Kim.com revealed that he was the actual source that had connected Rohrabacher to be able to go talk to Julian through a back channel, for Julian to admit that it was Seth Rich that was the leaker and not Russia. And Julian, even though he had already done interviews on this and all these other things, literally said, I'm not here to do anybody favors. There's a First Amendment, there's a Constitution, and they can follow it. And for a man to be in that position, to, as we've talked about, 3,000 days in solitary confinement within the Ecuadorian embassy, for him to take that position and say, no, like, not doing it, is fucking incredible. The power of, like, literally the spirit inside of that man is something that, like, I admire more than anything. So
same thing with Chelsea too. I mean, the fact that she's in this position where she could probably pretty easily get out of some of what she's going through, and she chooses not to based on principle, knowing what she's going to be facing. I mean, I can't even put to like words to how courageous that is. It's insane.
And let's not forget when it came out about the Rohrabacher stuff before the information on Grenell, and we just read the opening statements from this extradition hearing on behalf of Assange's attorneys, what was the media saying? Well, Assange was going to lie. and say that Russia wasn't behind the leaks for Trump. He's a liar. It's more Russian propaganda. And again, the media has been saying what? The Seth Rich conspiracy theory has to end. And when we talk about those leaks from Kim.com, the direct messages, there's two things that should be pointed out. SR is in reference to Seth Rich, and not only does Assange say, hey, they already have all the information, meaning they know that this was a download, it wasn't a hack, that's not how it was leaked, but also, if they want to go through with this, the Republicans can suffer the same fate as the Democrats did in 2016. And I hope that's true. I hope people start looking at the OPCW leaks. I hope that, Bernie Sanders, if he does get up there against Trump, he's not afraid to say there was no chemical attack in Duma in 2018. That's why WikiLeaks remains relevant. Even though this guy is literally behind a Pope-mobile glass wall at his own show trial, they're still doing more journalistic work than anybody at ABC, NBC, CBS, or Fox could ever dream of.
And that's why I don't understand why people don't get why WikiLeaks is such a crucial element to dealing with the situation we kind of find ourselves in. Like, we don't have a lot of journalism that's adversarial. We have state-run propaganda, basically. And if we don't have somebody out there exposing the truth, we're in a lot of trouble. People need to recognize that this isn't just about one man. This isn't about just Julian. This is about, if we don't have a free press, things are going to get really bad really fast. That's like the last line of defense between us and just absolute madness.
Yep, and we should all be very aware that the Counterintelligence 2020 to 2022 report signed off by Trump is very specific. Leaktivists, hacktivists, public disclosure organizations. You are the new Iran, Hezbollah, ISIS, Al-Qaeda. So you have to beware. Guys, I'm going to bail. I know you guys have Commander X coming up. Before I go, I want to let everybody from my audience know about Action4Assange.com and that you can follow this over at youtube.com/Action4Assange, where this is simulcasting. I know you guys are going to have a new GoFundMe coming soon. Steve, is there anything else you want to close out with and let my audience know about before I bust out?
Absolutely. I have a show called Slow News Day, which you can find here on the YouTube if you type in Slow News Day podcast. I live stream every Sunday from 10 to noon Pacific, 1 to 3 Eastern. I'm incredibly proud of my guest list. But you can check out all of my videos there. I'm on Twitter at Slow News Day Show, and the overall goal for what we're trying to do with Action for Assange, aside from the very obvious saving Julian Assange's life and stopping the extradition, we're trying to move the conversation into a post-partisan world, a post-partisan reality, where we get the information that we need, because we still have organizations like WikiLeaks where we're allowed to look at primary source documents, digest it, and make our own freaking opinion. We don't get to have other conversations, especially political ones, if we don't have access to free and open information. So with that, Jason, take care, man. I will talk to you soon, I'm sure.
All right, thank you guys so much, and I'll see you guys next week. Keep up the great work. That is Action for Assange, everybody. They keep killing it out there, and I'm going to keep working with them. I know there are some of you out there that are upset that some of them are progressive or liberals or even socialists. Guess what? I'm working with people that want to tell the truth. I don't have a political affiliation. I'm a constitutionalist at best. I believe that we should be combating evil no matter what political party it comes from. And we're doing it 3 to 7 times a day here. Thumbs this video up, subscribe, and share. We didn't even break 100 people on this stream over a half an hour. Almost 40,000 subscribers, and we can't do that. It's kind of disappointing, but that's all right. I know that you guys out there are some of the best activists in the world, and I know I saw some of you out there in D.C. Some of you took action in New York and around the country. Remember, I've got this Rockfin. I'm doing exclusive content 5 times a week here. That means you get 20 extra videos, Burmese Brigade style, for $9.99 a month. On top of that, you get everybody else's content here. It's like a Netflix for creators. And here we are. We're almost a week in. We're only at $115. This is how I make my living, guys. It's through the kindness of strangers. It's through the people that realize an independent voice that can't be bought is still pretty damn important. So if you support independent media, like what I put out, you don't have to agree with me all the time. I wouldn't agree with me all the time. I think that different views and different voices and different opinions are important because I don't get it right all the time. I totally understand that. But I do understand that you're never going to get anywhere playing liberal, conservative, right, left, Republican, Democrat, bullshit paradigm politics. That's not what we do here. We are not about right and left. We are about right and wrong. I love you guys, and I will see you all on the flip side.